Hey YouTube, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you're all doing well out there. Had a good week. Our week started out nasty here, gray, overcast, muggy, humid as can be, but the last 2 days it turned around. I've been outside in the park getting a little bit of vitamin D and yeah, looking forward to the weekend. Today I'm going to talk about adding cooked food to a mostly raw food diet. Guys, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I got a lot of videos here, so I'd appreciate if you'd go hit that big red subscribe button, then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. And I will make a disclaimer, this is not a video for you washed in the blood, raw is law, religious dogmatic folks on the subject. This is just, yeah, I've recently had more and more people asking me very specific things on Instagram because I seem to be an enigma, kind of an oddity in the way that I eat. An oddity in this particular way. People either are hardcore and have that religious, I'm raw, I never eat a bite of cooked food. Or there seems to be this theory of a slippery slope. Once a person eats a bite of cooked food, it will send them down a bad trail and they'll all of a sudden start eating a totally cooked food diet, and then they might even not be vegan anymore. But I've just been doing like I've been doing for, I don't know, for probably doing it to a certain extent since I've been back in the States, but definitely more the last year. So, what exactly do I do? How do I add cooked food? How much cooked food? I ask. I'm going to try to cover as much of it. Like I say, this is just telling you what I do. This is not telling you how you need to eat. I recommend, you know, I'm always recommending resources, different people, different books, different whatever. And the one thing that I will be different than everybody else on putting content out, or almost everybody else, I'm sure somebody else does it. I don't want you to follow me. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to go out and do your own research. I want to be able to point you in directions and you go do your own thing. Go look at it. See if it makes sense to you. See if it feels good to you. So like I say, this channel is just my experience on that. So, okay. So when I say a mostly raw food diet, I mean a mostly raw food diet. The majority of my day, the majority of the calories I take in are raw. They still are. They probably, and to be honest with you, I think I'm kind of right on that line right now where, yeah, I don't want to add any more, and I wouldn't want to because I can handle cooked up to a certain point. I mean, I can handle it. Let me explain that. I don't eat anything cooked and all of a sudden go, oh my God, my body just shuts down. I mean, I've heard the, you know, like, oh my God, I ate one bite of cooked food and, you know, I was insanely sick for 3 weeks. No, but I do notice that certain food is just not for me. It brings my energy level down real quick. Some things will give me just the slightest bit of indigestion. I can feel it just a little bit, and some things don't. So I have actually, you know, through trial and error, figured out the things that work for me and for the reasons I'm using them. Now, one of the biggest reasons I use it is, like I say, is to keep weight on. And also, too, because I'm in Alabama, I'm not getting a ton of fruit. I got some mangoes yesterday. I went to Pensacola to stock up on some supplies. Got some mangoes in the Asian market, but I haven't had mangoes in, probably a couple of months or so. And I had, you know, that wasn't mango season before then. So I haven't had much fruit. It's mostly been bananas. You know, now that spring and summer's here, I've got watermelon. I'm getting blueberries. Probably the next trip to the store, I'll get some good Alabama Chilton County peaches. But I just don't get the fruit like I used to in Costa Rica. And especially when summer comes around, I've always had a problem keeping weight on this lifestyle. And to each their own, you know, every time I mention weight, there'll be somebody that, well, why do you want to keep weight on? It's like, well, I don't like to walk down the street looking like somebody will pummel me if I look at them the wrong way. I just don't like looking malnourished. I don't like walking around with arms this big around. Not like I'm some huge dude right now, but I just like feeling a little bit better. And I've also felt a little bit more stable since I brought my weight up a little bit. Now, when we came out of winter, I was probably about 168 or so. I was probably about, back in February, I was probably about 167, 168. Back in March when this pandemic thing and we all kind of shut down hit, I was about 165. So I'm still down about 3 pounds. I'm about 161, 162 right now. But that's kind of a natural thing that just happens with me when the spring comes around anyway, since I've been back in the States. I start moving my body more. My body just doesn't hold on to the weight. So usually in the morning I hydrate. Usually in the morning, first meal of the day, I'll eat some ice cream. And then middle of the day is usually when I eat my biggest meal of the day. Now, a lot of the times, and this is what I had today. This is exactly what I had today. I had a huge salad, big salad, full head of romaine lettuce. Made my dressing, and then I added 2 steamed russet potatoes to that. And that, I ate that, man, that left me. Honestly, I haven't eaten since then. What time did I eat? I ate about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And I'm going to go make my smoothie, make a smoothie here in a little bit, but I could get through the rest of the day. So that's normally how I do. Now today each week, you know, sometimes I don't buy all sweet potatoes. The bulk of the potatoes I'm eating and the bulk of probably the cooked calories I get are from sweet potatoes. I eat sweet potatoes. And normally I will either eat sweet potatoes, I'll either add them to a salad, and that is the best way for me. I have found, barring no other, as far as like how my body feels when it's on raw versus when it's on cooked, that is the absolute best for me, is when I add some cooked food like that to a salad, because I've already got all my greens in there, which the lettuce, high water content, so it just makes the digestion. And the sweet potatoes are more sweet than starch, so they digest a little bit different, you know, just a little bit even easier than regular potatoes do. Not that I had any problem today when I had the russet potatoes on the salad, but 90% of the time it's sweet potatoes. I love my sweet potatoes. So that's what I do most of the time, is I'll put some sweet potatoes on there. If it's not a day where I'm really like shooting for a heavy calorie day, or, you know, whatever, like sometimes I'll just add, a lot of time, I guess, to just sum it all up, is a lot of the time is I'm just adding my cooked food directly to my salad. When I'm not adding potatoes, each week I get some broccoli. I usually steam myself some broccoli and put on top of my salads. When I don't eat my cooked food with a salad, my second favorite way of delivering it is with some, boiled or steamed, usually steamed collard greens or steamed spinach. And then I will mix my steamed collard greens and my sweet potatoes. And I do my sweet potatoes whichever way. I mean, you know, I'm not getting down into, okay, well, they get a little bit more nutrition. I bake them sometimes. I steam them sometimes. Just however is convenient at the time. I mean, because it takes a little bit longer to bake them. So I add those to that. I eat my sweet potatoes. I eat it with my what am I trying to say? My collard greens, or with like another type of green. Now sometimes too, usually, like I haven't been getting my lentils to sprout lately. The particular ones that I sprout have not been in the store in Pensacola. So I eat beans. I eat cooked beans a couple of times a week usually, just some black beans or red beans or whatever. And that's what I'll do. Like when I eat my beans, I will usually eat them with sweet potatoes. I'll just mix some sweet potatoes, some black beans, boom, eat them just like that. And I'll do that. And there is no rhyme or reason. It's not like, well, I eat this many sweet potatoes, or I eat sweet potatoes this amount of times per week, or I eat cooked food a certain amount of times per week. It's all just kind of by feel for me. It's all how I feel on a particular day. And when I say I have a heavy day or a light day, I don't mean hugely different. I just feel, I wake up some days, I feel like maybe I didn't eat enough the day before. Maybe I feel a little light, maybe I feel a little peckish, and that's a hard day. I eat hard, I eat big. I eat a big thing of ice cream, I eat a big green smoothie during the day, and I have a huge salad with some potatoes on there. Get some good fat in there, and I'm good. Excuse me, still not COVID cough. And then some days, maybe if I eat heavy this day, then I'll wake up the next day, or I get busy doing something, or it's extra hot. I tend to eat less cooked, or it tends to be what I'm going to do. Like if I'm out moving around, if I've been out in the park, or if I've been out in the sun, or if I'm out walking, I just don't feel like eating cooked food. It just heats my body up too much. Usually I would say probably 95% of the time, my cooked food is eaten in the middle of the day. I know people a lot of times like to do this whole thing, like eat raw all the way during the day and do that cooked meal at night. I like to do my bigger meal and especially the cooked food during the middle of the day. So 95% of the time, I eat my cooked food during the day, and then I'll finish it off at the end of the day. Like I say, more times than not, I have a green smoothie for dinner, and I have an early dinner. I'm shooting this video. It's about 4:30, 4:45 right now. I'll probably get around to making my smoothie maybe in another 15 or 20 minutes, so it'll be about 5:30. And I do that. I'm early. I'm kind of like Grandpa, you know, the early bird special. I usually eat my dinner kind of early. I've been eating a little bit later because I've been playing with this window of eating, the kind of whole intermittent fasting thing. A lot of people shorten that window so they can lose a little weight, burn more. I've been like extending it a little bit, because like I say, I try to keep that weight on. But once again, it's not like this big deal, and it's not been some sort of a slippery slope where I'm just like, you know, all of a sudden you add a little bit more, you add a little bit more, you add a little bit more. Sometimes I'm starting to think I'm not even human. I'm like a machine. I just kind of eat the same things over and over. I eat about 10 things all the time. A mix or combination of them, and I just kind of eat the same thing over and over. It's like a nutrient delivery system, and more so than, ooh, I'm going to eat this great meal, and ooh, what can we cook to go with it, or ooh, what can we prepare with it. I just, you know, I just, like I say, I go on intuition. I go by how I feel, but I do make sure I don't, like I say, I don't want that to sound willy-nilly, like, oh, how do I feel, man? I'm making sure that I'm getting in my nutrition all throughout the day. Like I say, for me, it's the greens. I got to get those greens. I got to get those micronutrients. You know, I try to make sure I get as much variety as possible, filling in those holes. I've been working on getting more zinc lately. I do a zinc supplement, plus I add, and I'm going to do that today, plus I add pumpkin seeds to my smoothies regularly. And yeah, like I say, it's never going to be about raw. The raw is just, it's not raw versus cooked. It's always going to be about health and nutrition for me, and how I feel in my circumstance that I can get in the most nutrition. I'll leave you with this, you know, I mean, it's kind of like this. I remember people always saying, and I lived in Costa Rica. When I was in Costa Rica, it was almost 100% raw. And when I was at the beach, it was 100% raw. When I moved up to the mountain for a year, I ate a couple of stews here and there, but it was mostly always raw in Costa Rica. Had food around all the time, and I remember people always, it's natural, man. This is how we were meant to live, like we were living at the tropics. Okay, well, vice versa. If you're living up in the northern part of Northern America, I'm sorry, it's not necessarily natural, and you may not be getting everything you need if you're just being dogmatic, and I gotta be fully raw all the time. But once again, that's your choice. I'm just sharing, answering questions, and explaining why and how and everything about how I do what I do. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in a couple of days. Peace.